The night was colder than usual. The wind felt sharp like broken glass, and it cut across the ruined land with a lonely howl. Broken metal houses, fallen towers, and burned roads covered the dark valley. Nothing moved except dust and smoke. In the middle of this destroyed world, two small alien girls walked slowly, trying not to fall. Their names were Lyra and Sani. Lyra, the older sister, held Sani's hand tightly. Her fingers were freezing, but she did not let go. She could not. If she let go, her little sister might fall, and they had no strength left to stand again. Their feet were bare, stepping on cold stones and wet mud. Their clothes were torn, thin, and dirty. The storm had soaked them completely. Sani's teeth were shaking, her voice small and weak. "Lyra, I am cold," she whispered. "I know," Lyra said softly. Her voice was tired but gentle. "Just a little more. We must keep moving." They had escaped from a slave camp only a few hours earlier. They had run through fire, smoke, gunshots, and screaming machines. Many kids tried to escape before, but none returned. Lyra did not know if she and Sani would survive either, but she had to try. She had promised her mother, before their mother was taken away, that she would protect Sani no matter what. Now the two girls walked to the broken valley, hoping to find shelter. But everywhere they looked, there was only darkness. No home, no people, no food, no hope. A loud crack of thunder hit the sky. Sani jumped and hid behind Lyra. "It's okay, it's just a storm," Lyra said, even though she herself was scared. But then they heard something else. Not thunder, not wind. Footsteps. Slow, heavy, getting closer. Lyra froze. Sani held her arm tighter. "Is it the hunters?" Sani whispered in fear. Lyra pulled Sani behind a tall piece of broken metal wall, both of them hiding in the shadows. The footsteps grew louder. Lyra's heart beat faster. Someone was coming. Every time the girls heard footsteps in the camp, pain followed, punishment followed, fear followed. They did not know any humans, but in the stories told in the camp, humans were described as cold, dangerous, and cruel. So the girls stayed very still, not daring to make a sound. Then, a bright light swept over ground. A scanning beam. Lyra covered Sani's eyes. "Don't move," she whispered. The beam stopped right in front of their hiding place. Sani's breath shook. Lyra felt her sister shivering against her back. The footsteps stopped. Then a soft voice said, "Hey, I know someone is there." Lyra closed her eyes tightly. "He found us." Before she could decide what to do, the metal sheet moved slightly. A hand appeared, covered with a warm-looking glove, and gently pushed the sheet aside. A human man stood there. His clothes were thick and warm, with protective armor on his chest and shoulders. On his belt hung tools, small scanners, and a light. His eyes looked tired but kind. He did not seem like a soldier. He looked at the girls slowly, not with anger, not with hate, more like surprise. "What are you two doing out here alone?" he asked softly. Lyra did not answer. She grabbed Sani and tried to pull her further back, but there was nowhere to go. The man noticed their fear. He removed his helmet and knelt on the cold ground. "It's okay," he said gently. "I won't hurt you." Lyra swallowed nervously. "Please don't take us back," she whispered. The man looked confused for a moment. "Back? To where?" "To the mines," Sani whispered, hiding her face in Lyra's shirt. The man's expression changed. His eyebrows tightened and a small anger flashed in his eyes. Not at the girls, but at something he remembered. "Listen," he said quietly. "I'm not one of them. I don't work for the mines. I don't take kids anywhere." Lyra did not know if she could trust him. Humans were dangerous. Adults were dangerous. Everyone was dangerous. But the man slowly took off his warm jacket and placed it in front of them. "You don't have to come with me," he said. "But please take this. You'll freeze out here." The jacket looked huge and warm. Sani stared at it with hungry eyes. She could feel the heat rising from the fabric, but she did not move. The man smiled softly. "My name is Evan," he introduced himself. "I'm just a field engineer, not a soldier, not a hunter." Lyra looked at him carefully. His face did not look scary. His voice did not sound angry, and his hands did not reach for weapons. But then, a sudden mechanical sound echoed from behind the ruins. Evan heard it immediately. He stood up fast and stepped in front of the girls. A glowing red eye appeared between the broken walls. A hunter drone, the same machines that captured runaway kids in the mines. Sonny let out a small cry and grabbed Lyra's hand tightly. The drone charged its weapon. Lyra pushed Sonny behind her, shaking in fear. But Evan moved faster. He took a small device from his belt and shouted, "Stay behind me." Lyra had no idea why a human would protect them, but she had no time to think. The drone fired a red beam. Evan threw the device at the drone. It exploded in a bright flash. Boom! The drone fell to the ground. Sparks flying in the air. Silence returned. Only the cold wind remained. Evan breathed heavily and looked back at the girls. "Are you both okay?" he asked. Lyra's mouth opened slightly. No one had ever asked that. No one had ever stood in front of danger for them. "Why? Why did you help us?" she whispered. "Because you needed help," Evan said simply, as if it was the most normal thing in the world. He picked up his jacket and handed it to Sonny. "Put this on. It's warm." Sonny looked at him with wide, glowing eyes. We don't have anything to give you," she said honestly. Evan shook his head. "You don't need to give me anything." Lyra's throat tightened. She felt something she had not felt in months. Hope? Evan stood up and looked around carefully. "There will be more drones soon," he said. "We can't stay here. My shelter is close. I can take you somewhere safe." Lyra hesitated. She remembered every warning her mother gave her. Never trust humans. Never trust strangers. Never accept help. But she looked at Sonny, shaking, weak, hungry, almost sinking to the ground. If they stayed here, they would die. Evan extended his hand, not touching them, just offering. "I won't force you," he said softly. "But you can come with me, both of you." Lyra looked at his hand. Her heart pounded. Trusting him could be a mistake, but not trusting him could be deadly. Sonny tugged her sleeve. "Lyra, I don't want to freeze. Please." Lyra closed her eyes for a moment, then nodded slowly. "We will come," she whispered. Evan smiled, relieved. "Good. Stay close." He wrapped the jacket around Sonny, lifted her into his arms gently, and gave Lyra a pair of warm gloves from his pocket. The two alien girls walked with a human into the dark valley, unsure what would happen next. But for the first time in a very long time, they did not feel alone. And behind them, hidden in the shadows, another red eye lit up. The hunters had found their trail. The cold wind pushed against them as Evan guided Lyra and Sonny through the ruins. The storm had become worse. Dust, smoke, and snow like ash floated in the air. The sky above was dark, with only faint flashes of lightning showing broken buildings and shattered roads. Evan walked carefully with Sonny in his arms. She was light, too light for a child her age. Lyra followed closely, holding Evan's jacket around her small body. It carried warmth and a strange sense of safety she didn't understand yet. "Are you warm enough?" Evan asked while walking. Lyra nodded. "Yes, thank you." "Good. My shelter is not far," he said. But Lyra could hear something else behind them. Soft whirring sounds, small metallic clicks. She looked back, her heart jumping. "Evan, something is following us." Evan stopped walking. His eyes narrowed. He listened carefully. Then he heard it too. Multiple drones. Coming fast. Evan whispered, "Move. Now." He held Sonny tighter and began walking faster. Lyra ran beside him. Her weak legs trying to keep up. They passed broken walls, burned vehicles, and twisted metal. The sound of drones grew louder. Red lights flashed between shadows. Sonny hit her face in Evan's chest. "They found us." "Not yet," he said firmly. Lyra grabbed his arm in fear. "What will they do if they catch us?" Evan did not answer immediately. He didn't want to scare them, but he had seen the mines before. He knew exactly what the hunters did to children. "No one will catch you," he finally said. "I promise." Lyra stared at him. No adult had ever promised her anything, not even her own people. Evan guided them into a narrow alley between two fallen towers. He stopped behind a metal wall and lowered Sonny gently to the ground. "Both of you listen," he said calmly. "I need 10 seconds to set something up. Stay quiet." He took out a small cube device from his bag, something like a trap. He placed it on the ground and activated it. Blue lights blinked on its surface. "What is that?" Lyra asked softly. "A noise suppressor," Evan said. "It hides our movement for a few seconds." Sonny whispered, "Is it safe?" Evan smiled a little. "It kept me alive for years." The drones came closer, their red eyes glowing through the dust. Lyra held Sonny's hand tightly. Evan grabbed both girls gently and pressed them against the wall behind him. The first drone passed right in front of them. Lyra held her breath. Sonny squeezed her eyes shut. Evan didn't move a muscle. The drone scanned the area and flew ahead, missing them completely. A second drone followed the first. A third one too. All three flew past, slowly disappearing in the storm. Only when the last drone sound faded did Evan breathe again. "Okay," he whispered. "We're good. Let's keep moving." The girls followed quickly. After a long walk, they reached a cracked metal door half buried in rubble. Evan pushed a panel beside it, and the ground vibrated slightly. With a heavy sound, the door slid open. Warm yellow light spilled out. "Welcome to safety," Evan said. The bunker looked simple but secure. Metal walls, clean floors, a small heater, soft blankets on a corner bed, and shelves filled with tools, food cans, and clothes. A small screen glowed on the wall, showing maps and signals of nearby activity. For the sisters, it looked like a different world. Sonny whispered, This is your home?" "It's not much," Evan said, "but it's warm, safe, and quiet." Lyra stepped inside slowly. Her eyes widened. She had never seen a place that felt so peaceful. Evan closed the door behind them and locked it with a security code. The bunker immediately felt warmer. Sonny walked toward the heater, stretching her small hands to feel the warmth. Her whole body relaxed as heat touched her skin for the first time in months. Lyra watched her sister with soft eyes. Sonny looked so happy, something Lyra hadn't seen in a long time. Evan opened a container and took out 2 clean towels. "You can dry yourselves with these," he said. Sonny took one shyly. "Thank you." Lyra took the other. She hesitated, then looked up at Evan. "No one has ever given us anything," she admitted softly. Evan shook his head. "That's not how life should be." He moved to the storage shelf and took out 2 soft blankets, handing them to the girls. "These are warm. Wrap yourselves well." Sonny wrapped herself so tightly she looked like a small, glowing cocoon. Evan laughed quietly. "That's perfect." Lyra sat down slowly on the edge of the bed. Her legs felt weak, almost trembling. The warm blanket around her shoulders felt unreal. Evan gave them 2 cups of hot soup. It smelled like vegetables and spices. Sonny drank hers fast. Too fast. "Hey," Evan said gently. "Slow down, little one. You'll choke." Sonny nodded, embarrassed. Lyra watched Evan closely. She saw something strange in his eyes. Kindness. Real kindness. It felt unfamiliar. After finishing her soup, Sonny asked softly, Why did you save us?" Evan leaned back in his chair, thinking for a moment. "I've seen too many bad things on this planet," he said finally. "Things done to kids. Things no one should see. When I saw you two, I knew I had to help." "But we are not humans," Lyra said, almost afraid. Evan looked at her seriously. "Doesn't matter. You are children, and children deserve safety." Lyra lowered her eyes. She felt something warm in her chest, a feeling she thought she had forgotten. Sonny suddenly stood up and walked toward Evan. She reached out and touched his sleeve. Can we stay here?" she whispered. Evan smiled softly. "Yes, you both can stay as long as you want." Lyra looked shocked. "You mean you won't send us away?" "Of course not," Evan said. "I want you to be safe." Sonny ran to Lyra and hugged her tightly. He said, "We can stay." Lyra held her sister with shaking hands. She didn't speak, but her eyes filled with tears. Evan watched them quietly, his heart heavy. Those kids have lived through hell, he thought. And they still smile. They're stronger than anyone I know. He stood up and checked the scanner on the wall. The screen showed red blinking dots moving slowly across the map. The hunter drones. They were searching the ruins. Evan's expression changed. He knew they would search until sunrise. He knew the girls were not safe yet. He turned off the screen quickly, not wanting to scare the girls. But Lyra saw the fear in his eyes. "Evan," she whispered, "are they coming?" He hesitated, then nodded. "They are searching. But they don't know this bunker exists." Sonny hugged Evan's arm. "Will they take us away?" Evan knelt beside her and looked into her glowing eyes. "No," he said firmly. "No one will ever take you again. I promise." The words hit Lyra deeply. Her eyes watered again, but this time with hope, not fear. Evan gave Sonny a soft pillow, then gave another to Lyra. "You too should sleep," he said. "You need rest." Sonny curled into the blanket and fell asleep in seconds. Lyra lay down more slowly. She looked at Evan, watching him prepare his tools and weapons quietly. "Evan," she whispered, "why are you doing all this for us?" Evan smiled sadly. "Because someone once saved me," he said. "I know how it feels to be alone. I will not let you feel that again." Lyra closed her eyes, finally feeling safe. But Evan didn't sleep. He sat near the door, weapon ready, watching the scanner. The hunters were coming closer. He whispered to himself, "If they want these girls, they'll have to go through me first." The bunker felt warm and quiet, but outside, the world was still dangerous. Evan sat near the metal door, one hand holding a small blaster, the other watching the blinking screen. Red dots, hunter drones, moved slowly across the map. Every few minutes, they came closer. Behind him, in the warm corner of the bunker, Lyra and Sonny slept like two small forgotten stars. Wrapped in soft blankets, their breathing was calm and peaceful. It was the first safe sleep they had in months. Evan looked at them with gentle eyes. "They deserve better than this," he whispered to himself. He wasn't a soldier, but he had seen war. He had lost people. He had saved people. He had learned one thing. You don't turn away from someone who needs you. Hours passed. The storm outside grew stronger. Snow like ash kept hitting the bunker door. Around dawn, the scanner beeped loudly. Evan's eyes snapped open. He must have drifted into a half-sleep. The screen showed something new. Not just drones. A hunter patrol. Armed aliens. Walking toward the bunker. Evan stood up quickly and checked his weapon. They must have tracked the girls, he thought. He turned to wake them, but stopped when he saw them curled together, peaceful. He smiled faintly. "I'll let them sleep a little longer." He went to the control panel and activated the bunker's defense shield. A faint blue glow spread across the walls. It wouldn't stop a full attack, but it would delay one. The scanner beeped again. The patrol now stood only 50 meters away. Evan took a deep breath. "It's okay. I've handled worse." But this time, he wasn't protecting just himself. He was protecting two children who finally trusted him. Lyra woke first. The warm light of the heater touched her face. She sat up, rubbing her eyes, and saw Evan standing near the door with a serious expression. "Evan, what's wrong?" she asked. He didn't want to tell her the truth, but she deserved honesty. "The people outside," he said, "not friendly ones." Lyra's heart dropped. She woke Sonny gently. Sonny blinked. "Are they here to take us?" Evan knelt down beside them. "No," he said firmly. "No one will take you, but I need you two to listen carefully." The girls nodded. Evan placed a small device in Lyra's hand. "If something happens to me, press this button. It will lock all the doors for 2 hours." Lyra froze. No, you can't go out there," she said, her voice breaking. Evan smiled softly and brushed her hair back. "Lyra, I'm not going out there to die. I'm going out there to protect you." "But you will be alone," Sonny whispered. Evan shook his head. "I'm human. I'm never alone." The girls didn't understand what he meant, but they trusted his voice. He stood up, put on his helmet, and checked his gear again. Then he placed his hand gently on their heads. "You two are safe here. Stay together." Sonny held his sleeve tightly. Evan, please come back. He nodded. I will. I promise. Outside, the world was gray with cold mist. Broken metal structures rose like bones. Snow ash covered the ground, crunching under Evan's boots. He walked toward the patrol. 5 tall alien hunters in dark armor, with glowing red helmets. Drones hovered above them like hungry insects. The leader stepped forward. You have 2 escape units, the hunter said. Return them. Evan stood tall. You're not taking anyone. The hunter laughed. Human, this is not your matter. Evan did not move. It becomes my matter when children are hunted. The hunter raised his weapon. They are property. Evan's voice darkened. No child is property. The hunters exchanged looks. One grinned under his helmet. Then you die for them. Evan lifted his weapon slowly. Then I die proud. The fight began instantly. A drone shot a red beam. Evan rolled behind a broken metal pipe. He fired 3 times. 2 drones fell to the ground, sparking. The hunters spread out, taking positions. Another hunter fired a plasma shot. Evan ducked. The shot burned the wall beside him. He grabbed a flash charge from his belt and threw it. It exploded in a bright white blast. Ah! The hunters stumbled, blinded. Evan used the moment. He rushed out and shot one in the leg. Shot another in the shoulder. 2 hunters fell. But the leader roared and charged forward. Evan blocked the first blow, but the force pushed him back. The hunter swung a heavy blade. Evan dodged, but the blade cut across his armor, sending sparks flying. Inside the bunker, Lyra and Sonny heard the explosions. Sonny covered her ears. Lyra, he said he will come back, right? Lyra held her tightly, shaking. Yes, he promised. But she couldn't stop crying. Outside, the leader kicked Evan hard. Evan fell to the ground, gasping. The hunter pointed his blade at Evan's throat. You protect them like they matter, he said. Why? Evan spat blood but smiled weakly. Because they do. The hunter pressed the blade closer. Humans are fools. No, Evan whispered. Humans care. Before the hunter could strike, Evan activated his last device, a sonic pulse. The blast hit the hunter's helmet, cracking it. The leader screamed and staggered backward. Evan stood up, bleeding but determined. He fired 3 shots. The last hunter dropped. Silence. Snow ash drifted softly around him. Evan breathed heavily, then smiled. It's done. But then, 1 drone remained. It shot a beam directly at Evan's chest. Evan flew backward, hitting the ground hard. Inside the bunker, Lyra and Sonny screamed at the same moment. Evan! Pain shot through Evan's body. His vision blurred. He tried to stand but couldn't. The drone hovered closer, charging for the final shot. Evan looked at it with fading strength. If he died, the girls would be alone again. He couldn't allow that. He reached for one last item, an EMP spike. He threw it with the last bit of power he had. The spike hit the drone perfectly. Boom! The drone exploded in a shower of sparks. And then everything went quiet. Evan lay still on the cold ground. Inside, the bunker doors opened with a soft hiss. Lyra ran outside first. Sonny followed, crying loudly. They saw Evan lying in the snow ash, barely breathing. Evan! Lyra screamed. She fell to her knees beside him. Sonny grabbed his hand. Please wake up, she cried. You promised. Evan opened his eyes slowly. A weak smile formed on his lips. You're both safe, right? Lyra nodded quickly, tears falling. Yes, because of you. Evan tried to lift his hand. Lyra helped him. With a trembling breath, he whispered, You two are not alone anymore. Sonny leaned down and hugged him tightly. We want to stay with you, she sobbed. Please don't leave us. Evan gently touched her head. I'm not going anywhere, he whispered. Both of you come home. The girls cried harder, not from fear, but from relief. For the first time in their lives, someone had fought for them. For the first time, someone had chosen them. For the first time, they had a home. Evan survived. Lyra and Sonny stayed with him in the bunker. They became a small family, Three souls who found each other in the ruins of war. And from that day on, whenever someone asked the girls who saved them, they answered with shining eyes. A human